Hello and welcome back to the Divine Speaker. Let's just jump right back into the story, yeah? The last few hours have been extremely slow. We've walked a little more, then walked a little further. Fawn walked slightly ahead, scouting out our path and guiding us. All Leos and I could do was follow along behind him. The setting sun cast our surroundings in orange and red. For some reason, this time of day seemed the most sad. When I looked around, it didn't look any different to where we were an hour ago, or 2 hours ago, or 3. But obviously Fawn knew where he was going, or where he thought he was going anyway. He tried not to show it, but Leos must have been in a lot of pain. He didn't fall behind, but he was struggling. If I tried to help him, he'd brush me off and insult me again. After all of this walking, even I felt exhausted, so I almost didn't even want to think about how Leos was feeling.
Fawn, I think Leos and I are getting a bit tired. Maybe we should start looking for somewhere to stay for the night.
He stopped in his tracks and turned to face us. Here I was, huffing and puffing, and he hadn't even broken a sweat. He's really something else.
You might be right. It'll start getting dark soon. I'll see if I can find some place to rest. Wait here for a second.
Before I could blink, he was already halfway up a tree. He climbed it like it was natural.
What is he? Is some kind of monkey?
I thought you were going with mouse.
Do you really trust him?
I looked over at Leos, puzzled. This is the first time we've really been left alone together. It's pretty awkward being alone with someone that tried to kill you.
Why wouldn't I?
He lives out here? In the forest? By himself? He's obviously got a few screws loose as well.
He hasn't given me any reason to not trust him. He might have some crazy ideas, but he's the only reason I've survived this long. And he's not as weak as you think he is either. So yeah, I do trust him. He's more trustworthy than some assassin who goes around burning down houses, huh?
Ouch! You wound me. But that really wasn't...
Guys, I can see some kind of lake to the south of us.
Oh my god, I'm poking out from the top there. Oh. Fawn popped his head out of the tree and waved to us.
Alright, that sounds like where we'll be spending the night. Can you lead us there?
Of course.
His expression was bright and warm. Seeing him smile like that makes me happy for some reason. He dropped down from the tree gracefully, like a cat.
Follow me.
like we have a choice. Ugh, ow.
I elbowed him lightly in the ribs. Hope it hurt. Oh, this might be a weird topic, but I'm kind of interested in what Leos thinks. Maybe he'll know something about what Fawn said last night? Uh-oh. Way to make it more awkward, huh?
Hey, Fawn. Tell Leos about that kissing thing. And the marriage and love.
Really? Right now?
He flared up again.
Fawn told me that when you want to be with someone forever, you fall in love, get married, and kiss. Have you ever heard of that?
What are you on about?
And when you kiss, you make babies. Is that how they do it at home?
No. You don't have babies after you kiss.
Oh. Then how do you have babies?
Oh, Rain, please.
That's obvious. The speaker has something to do with it, of course.
No, seriously? You don't know?
I don't. They don't tell us anything about babies until after we're matched up.
when two people are in love, they, you know, show it physically.
What the fuck is he talking about? Love?
Your choice of words there, Leos. Interesting.
I have no clue. He told me it's something you feel when you look at someone, but all I feel when I look at you is... indifference?
I'm flattered. All I feel when I look at you is a desire to trip you over.
That's not very nice.
How can you not know about something like love? I mean, even if you don't know about it, surely it's something you could still feel. You don't have to understand love to feel it. In fact, I think most people don't really understand love. But to not even know of the notion?
Sounds like something a crazy, tree-dwelling lunatic would come up with.
Okay. Are you sure it's real or it sounds amazing? We're not going to doubt Fawn, are we?
It sounds amazing.
Does it?
It is. Well, at least I think it is. Before I lived here, everyone around me loved each other. My family loved each other. My parents... my parents loved each other as well. It's normal to grow up surrounded by love.
It very well should be. Definitely. His parents? Didn't he mention not knowing them? He turned his face away from us. Maybe it'd be best to leave the subject alone for now.
Ah, is this the lake?
We came out in a small clearing. Weeds and flowers grew by the edge of the lake, and frogs croaked loudly. The water was mostly still, apart from a small trickle.
Do you think the water's fresh enough for us to drink?
Who knows what kind of filth grows in a place like this?
Well, some of the water is running, so it should be safe enough to drink.
Really?
Maybe. I'd be a bit more worried if the water was completely still, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
He didn't look entirely convinced. Not many other options around for water, though.
We were lucky to find some so quickly. I wish we could take some with us, though. We still have a long walk ahead of us.
I'll appoint myself as supervisor then. Get on with it.
He plunked himself down on the grass. Typical.
I'll see if I can find anything useful.
Fawn immediately went to work searching through the surrounding bushes.
Hey, Leos. Surely you have something useful in that pack of yours.
Something very useful. Come take a look.
I leaned over and looked into his bag.
More knives? Really?
He grinned. Smug asshole.
Forget it. You're totally useless.
What's not useful about a few extra blades, huh?
He's not wrong.
Everything when we're trying to survive out here.
I can think of plenty of ways that a dagger could help you to survive.
What?
You're too innocent.
Ugh, how irritating. Come on, he's not wrong. Why are we bothering to help him again? Looking pretty satisfied with himself, he watched while Fawn and I searched around the area. So he has more daggers after all. I guess stripping him of his weapons was kind of a waste of time. It makes me feel a little bit uneasy. I don't trust him with them, not even slightly. It'll be hard to take them too. Will he try to attack us during the night? Who knows? I wouldn't put it past him. But maybe he feels like he owes us and won't try to hurt us? Maybe. It's really big, maybe. By the way he carries himself, I can assume he knows how to use them well. I don't want to wind up on the receiving end again. When I put my hand to my throat, I could still feel the cut from earlier. It still stung, but at least it was only light. That confrontation could have ended up a lot worse. I dug around the bushes a little and checked around the perimeter. There wasn't much around. Sticks, rocks, the occasional mushroom. I found my way back over to Fawn.
Found anything?
No. I think we're too far from anywhere to find anything here.
I guess we can't take any with us then. Still, at least we can drink now. Leos, if you want a drink, you're gonna have to come get it yourself.
Aren't you supposed to be taking care of me? I mean, you want me to walk all the way over there? By myself? You two sure are useful.
He dragged himself up from the grass, biting his lip the whole time. Despite, well, his whole personality, I do feel a little sorry for him. I wish there was something I could do to help.
I'll keep an eye out for more water along the way.
Okay, thanks, Fawn.
I sat down next to the water and looked at my face. In the near still water, my reflection stared straight back at me. Ugh, I look bad. I'm filthy, covered in injuries, and I have huge bags under my eyes already. A lot's happened the last few days, but it's no excuse to look this bad.
Are you okay? Aren't you thirsty?
No, I'm definitely thirsty. A lot's happened lately. I guess I was just trying to process some of it.
No point dwelling on it. Just accept it and move on. You're not the only one that's lost something.
I glanced over my shoulder. Both of them were behind me, watching. Leos crossed his arms over his chest, a strange look on his face. I guess both of them have lost important things too.
Yeah, I know.
I dipped my hands into the ice-cold water. It felt fresh and cool against my sweaty skin. I quickly washed my face and had a drink. Just doing that made me feel a lot better. I should probably check my wounds while I'm at it.
Let me help.
Fawn sat down in front of me, cross-legged. He unwound the cloth that was wrapped around my arm and inspected the wound.
It already looks a lot better. I'll just clean it up a little, then wrap it again.
He raised my chin with his fingertips and took a quick look at my throat. Looks like it was only a scratch after all.
Leos, I can check yours too, if you'd like.
Without complaint, he sat down opposite me. With a straight look on his face, he let Fawn check and clean his wounds again. The whole time, he stared at me silently.
So, what happened to your arm? That's not an injury from today.
I looked over at Fawn the exact same moment he looked at me. What should I say? Why would he care? He shook his head at me. Maybe he thought it was best not to tell him about what happened.
I got scratched by a tree when I was walking around at night.
He didn't look convinced. Oh well, I don't have to convince him.
I know you said you didn't know anything about my markings, but have a look again. You might remember something.
I rolled up my other sleeve and showed him the black engravings running up my arm.
When you told me to go to the archives, I found a book with the same markings in it, but I have no clue what it says.
For once, Leo's face was serious as he listened to me closely.
The only thing that stood out to me was the name Caspian. I think he could have been the last of the royal family. Maybe he'd be able to read these markings.
Caspian? The last king wasn't Caspian. He never became the king.
What?
Caspian never ascended to the throne.
Still, you know about him? I've never heard a thing about him.
Well, how old are you?
I just came of age, 18.
Well, that'd be why. He wasn't around much then, if at all. He disappeared when you were just a baby. I was only a kid at the time, too, so I don't know too much about him. All I know is that him and his entire family were all met with untimely deaths.
They died? Did he die too?
Who knows? They didn't find his body, but no one's seen him since either.
My heart dropped. Caspian. He's my only hope.
You don't know that, though. I survived out here. Maybe he's hiding somewhere.
No way. No one could survive out here for that long.
He looked Fawn up and down.
No one normal, anyway. Well, anyway, no one knows. And a little stranger, no one talks about it. I mean, you didn't even know he existed, right? Not that I care. It doesn't make any difference to me. Not anymore.
Anymore? Still, that's a good point. I knew that at one point we had a monarchy, a king and a royal family. But I've never heard the details. I didn't even know when it was dismantled. Weird.
So, you're shirted.
Are you talking to me?
Who else would I be talking to? Yes, you.
My shirt. I found it.
I lost one, very similar to that, not long ago.
I found it on the riverbank near where my house used to be.
How did you lose yours, Leos?
I was washing it in the river.
Seriously?
Oh. It's starting to get pretty dark.
Today felt like a long day.
We'd been talking for so long, I didn't even notice it getting darker and darker.
We should probably get some rest.
The further we go, the colder it's going to get. It'd probably be best if we stayed near each other tonight.
He blushed again. It's kind of cute.
You two can huddle together all you want. I'll be fine by myself.
After brushing his clothes off, he quickly left to sleep somewhere out of sight. I'm really not surprised that he didn't agree, but that was still a little rude.
I'll find somewhere comfortable.
Fawn went in the opposite direction. Of course. Of course that's a choice. Should go check on Leos or else sleep near Fawn tonight. So Leos is hilarious, but I'm going with Fawn for now. Yeah. Well, I'm sure leaving Leos by himself will be fine. It's not like he'd want me there, and I don't really want to be around him either. Like Fawn said, sticking close together for the night is a better idea. I'll go find him instead. I followed in the direction I saw him go a moment ago. I found him leaning up against a large tree, his eyes shut softly.
Hey, Fawn. Are you awake?
He nodded at me, opening his eyes slightly. He sounds really worn out. When I sat down next to him, he scooted a little closer. I'm sure he's cold in what he's wearing. Where our arms touched, I could feel how cold he was, even through our clothes. Quickly, I removed my jacket and laid it over his shoulders. He opened his mouth, probably to protest.
I'm warm, really. I'll tell you if I want it back.
I looked up towards the heavens. Above us, thousands of stars filled the dark sky.
You know, it's worth enduring through the darkness. Because then you'll get to see the stars.
I turned to look at Fawn. He was staring at me already. Stars enchanted me from within his big round eyes. I didn't want to look away.
So... You go first.
Oh, so... where did Leos go?
I'm not sure. I didn't check. I'm sure he'll be fine.
You could have stayed with him tonight. He's injured and...
Why? I'd rather come with you.
He looked away from me, a pink hue to his cheeks. Was he a little jealous there? His long eyelashes brushed against his delicate, pale skin. It seems like a strange thing to notice, but it really stands out for some reason.
Thank you.
I don't really know how to say this, and I know nothing I say is going to make it better, but I'm really sorry about your house, everything you collected, your friends.
Don't worry about it. I'm just glad you're safe. I'm glad that you made it out alive. I hope they escaped. All I can do is hope.
I watched the night sky for a moment.
You know, the speaker taught us that the gods are always watching over us. From the moon, the sun, from every star in the sky. Surely they're watching out for us right now. I know everything will be okay.
I felt something soft on my shoulder.
Huh?
When I looked down, all I could see was his messy blue hair. He must be exhausted.
Fawn, really, I should be the one thanking you. So much has happened, and you've stuck with me through it all. You show me nothing but kindness. I've never met anyone like you before. Are you awake?
He shifted a little. I probably made him embarrassed again.
Have you heard the story about the sun and the moon before?
The sun and the moon?
The god of the sun and the god of the moon. The matron at my orphanage told it to me growing up. Once upon a time, the sun and the moon worked in harmony. They weren't contained to night and day, but ruled over the skies together. For a time, it worked. But they wanted more, and that was their undoing. The two were split apart forever, never to meet again. The matron says that after this, the two would reach out towards each other at dawn and at dusk, but they can never quite reach far enough.
Why are you telling me this?
You're pretty smart, Fawn. I wanted to know what you thought. To this day, I still don't know what she was trying to tell me. I guess I'll never find out. I hope they're okay.
Do you think they should have stayed apart?
I'm not sure, honestly.
Your biggest regrets in life come from not doing the things you want to do. If they took a chance and failed, at least they tried. If it's for the one you love, you can do anything. And who knows, they may still be able to fix it.
Love?
That's what it sounds like to me.
I closed my eyes and leaned my head against his. It was warm and comfortable. It felt natural.
It really is strange, you know? That so many bad things could happen. Yet, I could feel so happy. I don't know what it is about you, but you cheer me up every time.
I don't know how to put it into words, but there's something special about Fawn. Thoughts of Fawn drifted through my mind as my consciousness slipped away.
Truth. Find it. Judgment. From the gods.
Ugh.
I woke up all sweaty, my hand clenched in a fist around Fawn's. I felt him shift from my shoulder.
Are you okay? Is it the dreams again?
Yeah, I'm alright.
He was looking down at our interlocked hands.
Oh, sorry.
I took my hand away from us quickly.
We should try to find...
Well, you two are awfully close.
It's not what it looks like.
What does it look like? Anyway, there you are. I was about to come looking for you. How long have you been standing there?
Long enough?
Right.
I quickly got up and brushed the dirt off my clothes before holding out my hand to the red-faced Fawn.
Here, let me help you up.
Thank you.
I looked closely at Leos. His face was a little ashen, and he had shadows under his eyes.
How are you feeling today?
How do you think I'm feeling?
Not great?
Then why did you bother asking? Fine, I'm feeling fine. Tired and a little sore, but it's not the worst injury I've ever had.
He really doesn't look fine. He's much too proud. He won't admit it even when he needs help.
We should check both of your wounds before we leave. And drink. It might be a while before we find more drinkable water.
It's great to know that not everything the Pipsqueak says is ridiculous after all.
These two are like cat and mouse. Fawn doesn't do anything to defend himself, and Leos just happily chases him.
Anyway, how much further do we have to go?
It's about a 2-day walk from my house, so if we leave now, then we should be close by sunset.
It only took us a few minutes to prepare ourselves for today's trek. I rubbed my hands together and tightened my collar around me. This time of the morning, the wind was really biting. I know it's a good thing that we're not anywhere close to Aurelia Cavella, but it still hurts to be so far from my home and the people I care about. I can't help but feel like we're going in one massive circle with no end in sight and for no purpose, that we'll be running away like this forever. Even if we get to where Fawn's leading us, then what? More forest? Are the three of us meant to live out our days in some treehouse in harmony? I don't see that happening. If I manage to survive, what can I even do? Just like yesterday, we walked until we could barely walk anymore. Rather, we walked until I could barely walk anymore. Fawn seemed used to it, and despite Leo's injuries, he was getting around fine. He was actually looking brighter than before. The sun was already high up in the sky. Even when I put my hand up to block it, rays of sunshine spilled out between the gaps in my fingers and got into my eyes. My lungs felt like they were burning, and my legs felt heavy like lead. Am I really this unfit? At home, we have a garden that I work in, but it's not nearly as intensive as this.
Guys, I really think I need a quick break.
I could barely get a word out through my panting.
Oh,
Fawn rushed back towards me.
I'm so sorry. You should have said earlier if you needed a break. Why don't we stop here for a while? I don't think there's too much further to go after this anyway.
Why bother stopping if it isn't much further?
He's obviously struggling, so...
Then he just needs to keep up.
I don't think...
We all stopped dead in our tracks. What was that? Fawn motioned for us all to get down. Crunching footsteps grew louder, closer, along with the sounds of laughter. Is that a group of people? Out here, walking and chatting? I opened my mouth to ask, but Fawn put his finger to his lips. We don't know who they are, so it's better if they don't know we're here. When I looked towards Leos, I could see his narrowed eyes darting from place to place. He looked as confused as I felt. People? This far out? Surely not. The fact that we're here is unheard of, but other people too?
And did you see the size of his coin purse? As if he'll be missing it.
Can't miss anything when you're already kicking around the abyss.
From the bushes, we could hear thunderous laughter coming closer to us by the second. I couldn't stay quiet anymore.
Who are they?
Shush.
They all stopped and listened, one of them asking if they heard that.
Yeah, from over there. Something shuffling about.
Ah, crap. Crunch, crunch. Whoever that was slowly getting closer. My body felt numb, a dull ache in my ears from the sound of my own heartbeat. What should I do? How do I...
Damn it! Why the hell are you two so fucking stupid?
What?
Sorry. Before I could say anything else, he'd already bounced to his feet and had a dagger in each hand.
Well. Looks like we got another one wanting a lighter purse. We'll be happy to take it off your hands.
We're lucky today, boss. Ain't usually no one around here.
Try me.
He spat in their direction.
As if you could ever touch me with that blade of yours. I doubt you even know which end to hold.
Wait, he's still injured. I have to help him. My hands were shaking. I wanted to jump up and stand with him, but I could barely breathe. I took a moment to breathe in and out slowly. Finally, the drumming in my ears calmed down a little.
What are you calling me?
Ah, both hard of hearing and a bumbling oaf. What a delightful combination.
I poked my head out of the bushes just in time to see the group of men Leos was facing. They shuffled about awkwardly, glancing at the one in the center. That must be their leader. I'm sure they aren't used to him being insulted like this.
Tough words coming from someone that's outnumbered. My boys are gonna chew you up.
His face was getting redder and redder, and his jaw was clenched shut. I leapt to my feet and rushed to Leo's side.
What are you doing?
Before he could even start complaining, I grabbed one of the knives he had strapped to his side and held it out in front of me.
He's not alone. I'll protect him.
Silence, apart from the sound of Leos sighing quietly. But not long after, the supposed leader burst out laughing, and his entire crew joined in too.
Looks like we have ourselves a knight in shiny armor. We didn't know you brought your boyfriend.
Even more gold for us then.
I clenched my hands around the pointed blade. The cool metal almost stung my skin. I've never even held one before, let alone used one.
What are you doing? Get out of here!
No! I'm going to help you!
No!
A flash of metal passed directly in front of my eyes. I only just managed to fall back in time to avoid it. All the air left my lungs when I hit the ground hard. Only a second later, the same knife came down at me from above. I didn't have time to react. I clenched my eyes shut and shielded my face, but the blow never came.
Wait!
When I opened my eyes, I saw my assailant go skidding across the dirty forest floor, with Fawn on top of him. Did Fawn just tackle him?
Get 'em, boys.
There was no time to think about it. I jumped to my feet and pulled Fawn up from the ground, retreating back to stand closer to Leos.
Hey, Mouse Boy!
Fawn plucked the dagger that was thrown to him right out of the air. They ran at us, screaming and waving their weapons around like madmen. I gripped the dagger tighter in my hands. Holding it is one thing. Can I use this to hurt someone? The first two went directly to Leos, since he was the one that insulted their boss. That left two others to deal with. They stood back, watching on and shouting. They circled around Leos, smirking and holding up their swords.
What you gonna do, pretty boy?
It happened in an instant. The first one charged at him, and Leos quickly kicked him in the stomach and sent him flying through the bushes. Without even a glance, he threw one of the daggers he was holding in the direction the man had been kicked. By the sound that came from the bushes, it must have hit. He moved gracefully across the forest floor as the second man ran towards him. He dodged the blows so easily, it was like he was going easy on him. He ducked and leaned out of the way of each swing.
Stop moving around so much!
The second man's swings were becoming wild and erratic, with no rhythm or thought. I have no knowledge of swordplay, and even I could tell that he was doing badly. With a smirk on his face, Leos just dodged him time and time again, as if he was playing with him. Every time he missed, his face went a deeper shade of red. All I could do was watch. I wanted to help, but my legs felt so heavy that I couldn't even take a single step forward. He suddenly fell to the ground, clutching at his hand. The grass around him was splattered with flecks of blood, and he let out pained groans. Leos looked down at the man, with a grin on his face.
Get up, shithead. Aren't you boys gonna chew me up? I'm waiting.
Fuck you, asshole.
Before he could even finish speaking, Leo swung his leg out and kicked him straight across the face. He fell onto his back and didn't even make any other effort to get up or argue.
I definitely like you more when you're like this. You're much more agreeable when you can't talk. Poor baby. Out cold. Let's see if your friends can do any better, huh?
He's terrifying. Leos looks like a completely different person. Up until now, he seemed kind of like a smug asshole, but laughing, covered in blood, there was something else there. Something else behind his cold eyes. From the way he darted around and fought, you wouldn't even know that he was injured. His eyes were wild, concentrated only on one thing: killing. Death. He spun again and again, quickly digging his dagger into the shoulder of a different attacker. It was the same man that Fawn had tackled earlier, back for another go. I couldn't take my eyes off of Leos as he was taken over by that bloodlust. He pushed his attacker to the floor, stabbing him over and over again in the throat and face. Blood covered Leo's hands, but he still didn't stop. Fawn stood beside me, eyes locked on the same horrific scene. I wanted to look away so badly, but I couldn't.
Rain!
Fawn pushed me backwards onto the bushes that we'd jumped out of only a couple of minutes before. I stumbled before steadying myself on a tree trunk just in time to see the final man swinging at Fawn. It was the one talking lots earlier, the boss of the group. Fawn blocked and dodged the attacks, but his movements were much slower than Leo's. The difference between the two was obvious at a glance. He barely had time to dodge, let alone time to attack. I played with the dagger that was still in my hands. Can I actually use this? Could I possibly kill someone? Is it okay to kill someone to save yourself? Someone you don't know? Do I have any choice? No, I can't let him hurt Fawn. With each step, my courage faded even more. I don't know how to fight, how to block or defend myself, how to hurt someone like that. There's nothing I can do to help, is there? Before I could do anything, Fawn was thrown to the floor with enough force to make him cry out. He stood victoriously over Fawn's body. If I don't do something now...
Stop! Wait! Don't hurt him!
I'd almost forgotten about you.
He turned his attention towards me, and I instinctively took a step back. I looked down at Fawn. He seems a little rattled, but mostly unharmed. At least he's safe for now. The man took another step towards me, anger crossing his face, before it changed to a smile. He thinks I'm an easy target. He's not wrong.
Leave us alone!
He raised his voice, telling me that we were outnumbered, that his pals would finish up with the other two soon.
Pals, really? Strange that I can't see any around. Rain, get away from him.
Fawn pushed himself up onto his knees. His face was suddenly serious. He was within an arm's reach now. There was nowhere to run. Leos was busy to one side, Fawn the other, and behind me, only trees. He'd be able to reach me no matter where I went. I took my final step back and came into contact with a tree trunk. At least I managed to draw him away from Fawn. If I could just buy him enough time to get out of here. With my eyes squeezed shut, I clutched the dagger to my chest and prayed for a miracle.
Leos!
Fawn's scream echoed throughout the entire forest, and everything came to a standstill.
What?
I waited for the touch of the boss's sweaty fingers, but it never came. Nothing happened. When I opened my eyes, there was no one in front of me. Instead, he laid stomach down on the grass a few feet away. Leos stood behind him, glaring behind his knitted brows. He looked absolutely livid.
If you lay a single one of your disgusting fucking fingers on either one of them, I'll remove them from your body. I'll snap off every single one of them.
In one hand, he still held a dagger, but in the other was some kind of long leather rope. The other end was wrapped around my attacker's ankle. Did he just use that to drag him off of his feet? Thank the gods we hadn't stripped Leos of all his weapons after all. Slowly, Fawn approached the man lying on the ground. He knelt down beside him and flipped the man over so that he was facing upwards.
Don't you dare speak to Rain like that.
His back was to me, so I couldn't see his face, but his voice was cold. He leaned even closer to the man.
Ooh, I'm so fucking scared. The Pansy Boy's gonna kill me.
Killing you would be too kind.
Wow, okay. With a thud, Fawn punched the man in the face. He wailed and howled, holding his nose and thrashing around. Blood poured out from between his fingers, pooling in the grass that laid underneath him.
Fawn?
That was surprising. Even Leos looked astounded. He turned around, an innocent look on his face.
Yes?
Fucking asshole! Oh, you wait till I get my hands on. Ah!
Leos flung his remaining knife into the man's calf. His clothes quickly turned a deep red.
Was I speaking to you, filth? I don't remember saying anything.
Fawn looked down at his bloody fist, a surprised look on his face.
I didn't...
The man rolled around, desperately trying to grab onto someone. Leos kicked him back over with a thud.
Things aren't looking so good for you now, eh? Hey, where did all those friends of yours go? Oh, wait, that's right. I killed them.
Leos knelt down beside the man and pulled the dagger out of his leg. Blood rained down the edge of the dark metal. He pulled the boss up by his greasy hair. Leos smirked at the way he struggled.
Good night.
He wrapped the leather whip around the man's throat. Whoa, wait, is he going to... His face turned red before turning purple as he desperately tried to claw at the whip wound around his throat.
Wait, Leos!
What?
Killing him is too easy.
Whoa. Okay.
You don't have to kill him. Let's just get out of here, okay?
I saw a flicker of emotion cross Leo's face. Hesitation? I'm not sure. It's the first time I've seen an emotion other than the lust for battle on his face throughout this whole ordeal. I know these are bad people. Really, I know that. The other bodies that were spread out over the grass hadn't moved. Were they dead? Injured? I didn't know. Even if it's to protect me, I don't want Leos to keep killing. I dropped the weapon I was holding and took a deep breath. The muscles in my arms ached, despite my lack of involvement. Okay, I have no reason to be scared anymore. I put my shaky hand on Leo's shoulder. He turned his eyes towards me, a strange look on his face.
It's fine. You can let him go. We're okay now.
Let's just go. This man isn't worth our time.
Fine. He's not worthy of being killed by me anyway.
Leos immediately let go of his hair, and the man came crashing to the ground. With the whip removed from around his neck, he gasped for breath and crawled desperately away from us. There was a purple bruise around his neck that wouldn't be going away anytime soon.
You're lucky these two are so forgiving. If I ever see you again, I'll gut you where you stand. Understood?
Yes, sir.
A quick kick to his behind left the boss face down in the mud. This must be the most unlucky day of his life.
That wasn't necessary.
Oh, but fun nonetheless.
Lightly, I tugged on Leo's sleeve.
Let's get out of here.
He bent down to pick up his thrown weapons and quickly glided back over to me. Every step was smooth, like he was walking on clouds. The crazed look in his eyes was gone, but the smirk replaced it immediately.
What are you so happy about?
He bent down until we were eye level with each other.
The look of terror in someone's eyes when they realize they're outmatched is like nothing else. Oh, they talk big, but when it comes down to it, they're nothing but amateurs.
Thorn looked around our battlefield, back to his usual self.
Are the rest of them dead?
Who knows? That depends on how good of a shot you think I am.
Death isn't something to laugh at. You shouldn't take it so lightly.
Really? Because only a moment ago you seemed like you'd be up for killing that fat oaf. But I guess at the end of the day, someone like you would never understand what it feels like.
Leos moved to stand over Fawn, peering into his face.
Or would you?
No,
That's enough! Please, I just want to leave. I can't look at this any longer.
Okay. Let's go. I don't think we're too far from the edge of the forest now.
After all of that, I felt so worn down. My mouth and throat were dry, and the adrenaline was only just beginning to leave my system. If he says the edge of the forest is close, then sure, the edge of the forest is close. I have no energy to argue. If it means I can sit down for a minute, he can tell me anything. We left the area, following Fawn back the way we came.
So, what were they doing out here?
They seemed like a band of thieves.
And not very good ones.
As for why they were out here, I'm not sure. This is the first time I've been this far.
Wait, this is the first time you've been here and yet you're leading us so confidently? You see, he's full of shit. He's been leading us in circles the entire time.
No, I definitely know that this is the right way. My friends told me to go this way.
Friends?
Fantastic. Just when I was thinking that Leos needed another reason to tease Fawn.
Wait,
My friends. The animals that live with me.
Lived with you?
The animals that lived with me. They helped me out.
Oh, they helped you. Oh, of course they did. Did they cook and clean for you as well? Dress you and bathe you?
What? No, of course not. They mostly just kept me company. I made sure they were safe, and they did the same for me.
Oh.
And sometimes they'd lead me places. We're a family, and we look out for each other. At least, we did. I wish I could introduce you to them. I just hope they're okay.
Oh.
What?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Nothing?
You're telling me we're following you around because a bunch of animals told you this was the right way. Are you insane? Are you actually so out of your mind you think that sounds reasonable?
Well, you don't really have many alternatives, do you? So Leos is right, or leave Fawn alone. So, I mean, no matter if you believe him or not, if you believe it's true, like he believes it's true for him, whatever. Like, no need to tease him about it.
Leos, be nice.
Did you not hear him? He talks to animals.
I heard what he said. Let's just drop it.
Drop it? Do you want to be wandering in circles for the rest of our lives? This is insane.
Seriously, stop it.
Pipsqueak is probably doing this on purpose, taking us out into the middle of nowhere to eat us or something.
Shut up! Will you just leave him alone? All you do is constantly try to push him down and make him feel bad. He's done nothing to lose my trust. But what about you? You were hired to kill me, but you expect me to trust everything you said over someone who's only trying to help? Just be quiet and keep walking. Fawn, you said we were close now?
Yeah, it shouldn't be much farther now.
Great. You're both delusional then. I'm so glad neither of you are so worried about this situation.
Of course I'm worried. But what else can we do?
Be careful here.
Oh man. The greenery around us gradually shifted to gravel and rubble. Ahead of us, the trees were becoming thinner.
This is it.
It?
The edge of the forest.
We snuck closer to the light that beamed in from the other side of the trees. With every step, I could feel my heartbeat becoming heavier. What is this? I held my breath and took the final step out of the tree line.
There, that's the coastal city of Stagwitch.
I dropped to my knees, the rocks crunching under my weight. Past the tree line, the sun was setting a brilliant shade of yellow over the sprawled-out contents below. Large rocky structures, water that goes on forever. A city. A city?
Fawn, you weren't lying? You aren't crazy after all?
Did you really think I was? I wouldn't lie to you.
The town wrapped around the coastline, and lanterns around it were slowly flickering to life as the sun descended further and further into the water.
Everything I know, everything we've been taught, was a lie?
The view made me dizzy. I had to hold the ground in place just to feel secure.
This can't be true. What the speaker says isn't a lie. He has no reason to lie to us.
That's right, the speaker. He wouldn't lie about something like this.
Maybe he just doesn't know?
A slight wind blew my hair around, so I tucked some locks behind my ear. It was cold, cooler than at home.
Well, hiding the outside world seems like a difficult thing to do. It could be an accident, but...
Then, everything you said about not coming from Aurelia Cavella, about the towns surrounding here, they were true as well?
Of course. I've never lied to you. I've never even seen Aurelia Cavella. I barely knew it existed.
I crawled closer to the edge of the cliff. Fawn and Leos sat down beside me.
There's so much water. I've never seen so much. Does it go out forever?
It's the ocean. It goes until it hits another block of land. There are other cities across it as well.
The water glistened in the fading light. It was beautiful. Beautiful, but something about it made me feel sad. The more I looked on the fantastical landscape that went as far as the eye could see, the more lost I felt. My whole life, I would never have known.
And those, what are those giant rocks?
The mountains?
Did someone build them? They're huge.
No, they're natural. like the ocean and the forests and everything around us.
I see.
My arm throbbed numbly. I could feel the markings buzz, like they were alive. We sat for a while, just taking it all in.
Maybe. Does fate not exist after all? My life should be quiet, uneventful. Here I am. My judgment wasn't anything like this.
The speaker is always right. Everything he says comes true.
He looked upon the land below us, a worried expression on his face. He wasn't even convincing himself.
Maybe that's because you all do what he tells you to. I believe in destiny, but I also believe that fate is what you make of it. You can become anything. I don't know him, but just because he tells you one thing doesn't mean you can't live your life how you want to.
Fate isn't absolute?
That's what I think. Your hard work and effort are the things that determine whether your fate comes true or not.
I've never thought about it like that.
You gotta be fucking kidding me. Is this actually real?
Looks like it.
And no one else from home has ever thought to look out here?
I guess not.
There's not much I can say. What do you say when everything you've ever been told was wrong? I looked at Fawn. He said he'd guide us to the edge of the forest, and Leos and I could go search for help, but...
Fawn?
If it's okay with you, I'd like to come with you.
Really?
Going back now wouldn't be safe. Plus, it'd be a little lonely.
His cheeks and the tips of his ears turned red again.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
I smiled at him. I can't imagine going any further without his help.
I might not be very useful, but thank you.
You're not as useless as I thought after all.
Leos reached over and ruffled Fawn's hair.
Thank you, I think.
I looked out over the horizon, then back at the two that sat next to me.
You guys... Thanks. I'd probably be dead by now if it weren't for the two of you.
Damn right you would be. I think I'll have to teach you how to hold a weapon at the very least.
Then again, I could have also been dead because of one of them. Oh well, maybe my emotions are taking over my common sense right now.
Should we start climbing down then? It'll be dark soon.
Good idea.
We all scrambled to our feet and started to descend down the rocky slope. I kept an eye on Leos though. Despite how he acts, he is actually still injured.
Do you need a hand?
From someone like you, no thanks.
What happened to the nice Leos from a few minutes ago?
I don't know him, sorry.
The sun slowly set over the wide ocean as we made our way down the slope and towards the town in front of us. Outside, it was already pitch black, but fortunately the lights from around the city helped to guide our way. Trees began to thin out into small fields of rice and wheat before finally we reached the entrance to the town. The town buzzed with activity. The inhabitants moved around, doors opened and closed, people chatted excitedly, and kids ran around through the streets.
I can't believe this is real. And we're actually standing here.
I did try to tell you.
I know. Sorry, Fawn, for doubting you. In my mind, a place like this just couldn't exist. yet here we are. Sorry, I must look really dumb to you.
It's okay, I understand. How could the two of you believe me when you've always been told the opposite?
It pains me to admit it, but even I feel a little bad.
Let's look at this positively. From here on out, we have so much to learn and experience. Doesn't that sound fun? I just wish we could show this to the people back at home.
You never know. Maybe one day you'll get to go back and tell them.
With all of my heart, I want to believe that one day I can show this side to them. To the matron, to Mia and Tobias, to everyone. It might be an unreasonable wish, but I'll still wish for it. One day, I'll be able to show them.
Definitely, someday.
Alright, let's not waste any more time. I don't know about the two of you, but I'm not spending another night sleeping on the ground. I'd appreciate a bed.
Even in Fawn's house, the bed was only thrown together. What I'd give to sleep in a proper bed tonight.
Sounds good to me.
I guess we can just walk through the main streets then?
Do we need to hide? Will they question us?
I don't think so. We should be able to enter and leave freely.
Really? Wow.
We slowly walked through the outskirts of town. No one stood watch though, just like Fawn said. They really can just come and go as they please. They can look out on the ocean and decide to visit it. They can look far into the distance and just go. I envy them. My arm ached as we walked between the buildings. The dull throbbing went from my wrist all the way to my shoulder. I massaged it with my other hand, but it didn't help.
Is your arm bothering you?
The two of them watched me closely while we walked between the rows of houses.
Oh, no. It aches a little, but I'm sure it'll pass soon. It's not a big deal.
All right. But tell us if you can't deal with it, okay?
Yeah.
Oi, look.
Not far from us, we saw the first of the townspeople. Instinctively, my body tensed up, and I wanted to hide. What will she do? She wouldn't call the guards because of a group of messy, unknown guys walking around in the middle of the night, right? We all watched her closely and in anticipation. She gave us a gentle smile as she walked past and kept going on her way. That was it.
She seemed rather friendly.
She did. I've heard that the people here are friendly, but...
But?
What, by your little friends?
No, I mean... Yeah, they told me. Even if people seem friendly, it doesn't mean they really are. It looks like it should be a safe place to spend the night, though.
Fine. Did your friends also happen to mention a place where we'd be able to rest, Mouse Boy?
Oh no, they didn't. Sorry.
It's fine. You shouldn't be expected to know everything. We can just take a look around together. Right, Leos?
I glared in his direction. Hopefully he could read the "shut up" look in my eyes.
Whatever you say.
Alright, it's settled then. Task 1, we find a place to stay. And Task 2, we find someone to look at your injuries. Okay?
Yes, sir.
If only you were always so compliant. I like this, Leos.
We walked further through the town, more confidently than before. People bustled around, busy with their own lives. They didn't pay any attention to us whatsoever.
The buildings all look so strange.
I was thinking that too.
What do you mean?
At home, the buildings look nothing like this. It's amazing.
Really?
I looked around. Yeah, it was different to home. Completely different. Even the atmosphere wasn't the same. We kept walking, slowly passing other people who paid no attention to us. No one called out to us or asked us what we were doing there.
They're not even noticing us.
They looked so similar to the people from home, yet so different. Different hairstyles, different clothes, faces that seemed almost familiar, but slightly off. It's so strange. I glanced at Fawn. He was following slightly behind me, with his eyes cast down towards the ground.
Fawn?
Huh?
His eyes flicked up from the ground immediately.
Are you okay?
Oh, yeah. I'm just a little tired.
We agree on something. For once.
Well, I know I said it pretty easily, but where exactly are we going to stay?
Wait here.
Before I could object or question him, Elias was off. He wove between the buildings and was out of sight instantly. Should we wait here with Fawn? Maybe I'll try to catch up to him. He told us to wait, so... let's just wait.
There's really no stopping him sometimes.
This area was relatively quiet, with only a few people walking past every now and then, so I crouched down and rested my back on the wall behind us.
It's been a long day.
Fawn stood awkwardly, still staring at the ground.
Hey, why don't you sit down here with me?
Oh, okay.
He sat down on the pavement a few steps away from me and rested his head in his hands. I don't like this. I shuffled over until I bumped into him and draped my arm over his shoulders.
Hey, don't act so distant.
When his eyes met mine, I finally noticed his eyes welling up.
What's wrong?
Did I say something to upset him? He's been acting strange ever since we got here.
I'm sorry. What did I do?
No, I'm scared. I don't know what to do.
What to do?
Suddenly, there's all these people around. I haven't set foot anywhere like this in 10 years. I feel useless and scared. At least out there, I could be helpful. But now...
So he does remember how long he's lived alone, after all.
You're not useless. We would never have found this place if not for you.
But that was out there. Here, I know nothing. Every time I make eye contact with someone, I want to run as far away as I can. I want to hide and never come back. I don't want them to hurt me. I didn't mean...
They won't hurt you.
What if they do?
You should know that I wouldn't let them. When I needed help, you gave it to me. You protected me more than once, so let me help you now. Not that I know much more than you about this kind of thing.
He just stared at the ground silently.
Why are you so worried? Have these people done something to you?
No. But the last time I just don't want to remember.
He doesn't want to talk about it. I'm not going to push him.
Well, trust me. I won't let them do anything to you.
I tightened my arm around his shoulders and pulled him a little closer. When he looked at me, I smiled. This is all I can do. It's the only way I know to show him that I'm here for him.
Okay.
He rubbed at his eyes with his long sleeves and let out a quiet sigh. With a slight turn of his head, he watched me with puffy eyes and cheeks tinged pink.
Hey, you shouldn't do this in public.
What do you mean?
Your arm.
My arm? Why? You can't comfort people in public?
Yeah, seriously.
Is it different out here or something? I don't think it's a big deal. In some way, you kind of remind me of these two kids at my orphanage. I want to look after you.
Oh.
What?
Before I could say anything, we were interrupted by an explosion of giggles and chatter coming towards us.
What is that?
I took my arm off of Fawn and stood up. When I held out my hand, he quickly accepted and stood beside me.
Oh my god, your outfit is so sexy. Ugh, where are you from? And your hair, it's so smooth. What do you use?
Did you come here with anyone?
Can I touch your abs?
Wow. Okay.
Around
the corner came Leos with a small crowd of women following behind him. A couple of girls buzzed around him, asking questions and touching him.
Leos?
Are these your friends? Little brothers?
These are my companions. We're traveling together.
That's adorable.
Is it? What's going on here?
I just asked someone if they knew where we could stay the night. And more people came. Until I had a crowd. I don't know what they want.
Vaughn shrunk back from the sudden crowd, further into the shadows.
Well, did you find somewhere we can stay?
We can take you to our local inn. It's the best in town.
Okay, that's... I mean, that's what I was thinking initially, that they might be able to find an inn. I almost thought they were going to offer somewhere else.
I'm not sure we can afford.
Oh, come on, follow us.
Two ladies held Leos by either arm and led him away. I gave Fawn's hair a little ruffle.
Remember, I'll look after you. Come on.
With a small nod, we set off after Leos. The walk towards the apparent best inn in town wasn't very long. The area was mostly quiet and we only passed by a few people. We probably wouldn't have found our way here without Leo's fans. I guess I should be thankful. There were a few people gathered around the entrance of the small building, chatting and laughing, but the inn wasn't much to look at. A young lady stood by the door, smoking some kind of pipe. A man with dark green hair sat at one of the outside tables, playing with a bird. When I peeked in through the window, the inside was pretty much devoid of life.
The Sleeping Ostrich Inn.
Wow. Your little forest friends taught you how to read, too?
I already knew how to read.
Please, just be nice.
When am I not?
Do you really want me to answer that? Let's just go in.
Rather than standing around out here.
The crowd of girls that brought us here shuffled us in through the doorway. The inside of the inn was a little run down, with creaky floors and an old bar, but after the places we'd been sleeping lately, it looked like heaven. Sets of tables were scattered around the room and a few stools set by the bar. Only a couple of people were sat around, drinking alone. The atmosphere was pretty dull. The bartender looked up when we entered, his eyes wide at the sight of around 15 people suddenly bursting into the door. Leo's crowd sat him down at the table and surrounded him in an instant, chatting to him non-stop. Sorry, Leos, you were a worthy sacrifice.
I guess I'll go talk to the bartender.
I'll come too.
Even I felt awkward around that big group, so I couldn't blame Fawn for wanting to come along with me instead. By the time we reached the bar, a couple of the girls had already bought rounds of drinks and brought them back to the table.
What a crowd! Where did you find them all?
Is he talking to me?
All of them? You mean the girls?
Of course I mean the girls. I couldn't pay them to stop by here any other night. They like to complain about the place being dirty or something. Nonsense. You couldn't find a place cleaner than this.
I eyed up the thick layer of dust that covered the bar top. Sure.
My friend, well, one of my companions met them when we entered town. We asked them if they knew anywhere we could stay the night, and they directed us here. Actually, it's more like they pulled us all the way here, to be honest.
That companion?
He pointed out Leos, surrounded by women and looking uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's him.
I'm not surprised. They'd do anything for a man as handsome as him. What it's like to be young.
He sighed wistfully.
If you're looking for a place to stay, then you're in luck. How many of you?
Just the three of us. I hope.
3 rooms then? That'll set you back 30 plumes each. We're the cheapest in town, but the best, of course.
Plumes? You don't take marks?
We both looked at each other in confusion.
The currency here might be different from the one we're used to.
Different? I can't think of a single town in the region that uses anything else.
I see. There's no way we could work out some kind of agreement? We've been traveling for days.
Well, you have brought in a pretty big crowd, I'll give you that.
Abruptly, he stopped speaking and cast his eyes to the far side of the room. In the corner was a small stage, worn from use, but covered in cobwebs. I guess it hasn't been used in a while.
I'll tell you what. If you can entertain them enough to stay for the evening and put on a bit of a show, you guys can have some of the cheap rooms. We got a deal?
Entertain them? How?
We've got some old music equipment in the storeroom out back.
Music? Now really isn't the time to be picky, but how can I tell him that I'm not even slightly musically inclined? No choice, I suppose. We'll just run with this.
Thank you so much. We really didn't want to have to leave tonight.
Wait, Rain!
Perfect! I'll go get some instruments then.
The man disappeared through a doorway, apparently on his way to collect some instruments.
What are you thinking? There's no way we can do it!
Do you have any other ideas?
He looked away and thought.
This is our best bet.
I walked back over to Leos and gave him a little tap on the shoulder.
What?
Well, good news. We can stay here tonight.
Whoa. You aren't entirely useless after all.
Bad news. We have to put on some kind of musical show and keep these girls happy.
Look, I take it back. I have never met a person as useless as you. Do I look like some kind of flute player? Huh? Some kind of prancing harp or lute musician? Is that what you think I look like?
A little, honestly.
Shut it.
Sorry, but honestly, it's here or the streets, and I'd much rather be here.
I don't think I can.
I'm back. Take your pick.
He laid out a variety of instruments on the bar top, just waiting to be picked. Lutes, trumpets, pan flutes, and so many others I didn't know the names of.
Oh, I think I could play this.
I picked up the simplest looking one of the lot, I've never been very musically talented, so even this might be a stretch for me.
A triangle? Really?
Let's see what you pick then.
He timidly plucked the strings of a lute.
Oh, what's this? Is this some kind of dancing, prancing lute player that I see?
Shut up. I played a little when I was younger, alright?
Sure, if you say so.
Fawn stood behind me, looking over the assortment laid out in front of us. Is it getting hot in here? I pulled at the clothes around my neck, but it didn't help. Maybe I'm just feeling a little nervous. I rolled my sleeves up to my elbows to try and cool down a bit.
I really can't. I've never played any of these. Maybe I'll go stay somewhere else and meet you back here in the morning.
Wait! I'm sure there's something you can do.
I'm not sure.
Hey, what about singing? Surely you spend some time singing to your pets?
I couldn't. They'll laugh at me. And they weren't my pets.
Of course they won't. I bet they won't even take any notice of us. They're all too busy entertaining themselves. They probably won't even listen to you singing. They'll be watching Leos instead.
Well, I guess I could give it a try. But...
What's wrong? We'll be up there with you.
what can I even sing about?
You can pick, or how about you sing about me? Okay. Very forward here. Interesting. Well, he's obviously confused on what to sing about. He doesn't have any idea, right? So... give him a hint?
Oh, why don't you sing about me?
About you? That's a little...
He looked down at his feet, mumbling. The crowd was bigger than anything he would have ever experienced, so I can't blame him for feeling nervous. But if it means we can all sleep in actual beds tonight...
Yeah. Let's just have some fun with it. Don't look so nervous.
This is ridiculous.
Well, I guess so.
You won't be alone up there. We'll both be right next to you.
Alright. But is it really okay to sing about you?
I don't mind.
I leaned in closer to his ear and ignored the strange look Leos was giving me.
Maybe leave out the whole, arm thing, though.
That's what I was thinking when you pulled up your sleeves, Rain, but okay.
Okay. I just don't want you to be uncomfortable.
Are you two done? Let's get this over with.
Good luck!
The crowd didn't take much notice of us setting ourselves up on the stage. They chatted between themselves, drinking and laughing. Leos plucked a few strings, content with the tune. I guess all I have to do is hit my triangle? Pretty easy, really. I hit it a few times. Yep, it's definitely a triangle. And that's not how you would hold it, is it? Don't you have to, like, string up here so that it swings freely? Because if you touch it, it won't keep making a sound? Or am I being too picky? Or not remembering correctly? It's been a while since I've seen one in real life. Fawn was staring at the wooden floor. He might need a little push.
Ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Fawn?
Huh? Oh, yeah.
He cleared his throat a few times and gave me a little nod. The bartender leaned against the bar, watching us as Leos began strumming his lute. Hey, he's actually not that bad.
I
gave him a smile before whispering to him again.
You can do it.
behind these walls, waiting for them to fall. I will pave a way beyond the gray.
What?
I'll run away, journey beyond the fog.
He's actually really good. His soft, melancholic voice reached out towards the audience and captivated them. Only a moment ago they were loudly cheering for Leos, but now they watched Fawn in silence. They all listened, mesmerized. Leos played a soft tune on his lute, perfectly complementing Fawn's voice.
Okay, stop biting my ear. We can go in.
The doors opened and passerbys joined the crowd, captivated by Fawn's angelic voice.
My destiny, I can hear it calling. I'll write my own story.
You're right. He's pretty good.
Whoops, I guess I should hit my triangle a few times as well. Not that anyone would notice either way. With Fawn singing and Leo's lute playing, nothing else is needed. Fawn stood in the center of the stage, eyes closed, singing. All of his previous nerves were gone.
A galaxy where I'm free to be me.
And silence. The song ended and the growing crowd roared and clapped. Leos left the stage quickly after. Well, it was more like he was dragged off by the ladies. Fawn remained still, eyes closed for a moment, before he looked at me.
Wow, that was about me?
I could feel my heart beating faster and faster in my chest. Why? Have the nerves from performing finally caught up with me? Is it because of Fawn's beautiful song?
That was beautiful. You did great.
Really?
Really? Did you just make that up on the spot?
Yeah.
He looked away from me and played with his pale hair. The way it framed his small face and the sound of his soft voice. It really makes him look angelic. The thumping continued in my chest as we left the stage to join Leos. During the song, the bar had filled up even more. Now every table was taken and people chatted cheerfully.
That was amazing! I should hire you guys permanently. Just look at all the people you brought in. I've never seen so many.
Thank you. It's all thanks to these two, though.
As promised, I'll go get the rooms ready for you.
He left quickly through the back door again, leaving me with Fawn, Leos, and the newly formed crowd of people. Most of them were too busy to pay attention to us, so we got a small table in the corner and waited for the bartender to get back.
Well, that was fun.
If ridiculously embarrassing means fun to you, then sure. How did I end up here? Stuck with the two of you? Doing this? Who did I offend to deserve this kind of fate?
He rested his face in his hands, sighing.
Well, it's better than being stuck in the forest alone, right?
I'm not so sure.
I thought it was kind of fun.
See, someone's positive. Plus, we'll finally have somewhere to sleep tonight.
Well. That wasn't a bad performance. Of course, I can tell you're new to it, but the raw sex appeal of Red in the back made it well worth watching.
What now?
As the three of us sat around the table, someone approached from the crowd. A tall man with long green hair tied back into a ponytail. On his shoulder sat a small blue bird, looking around playfully.
Can't take a compliment.
He flashed a fang with a wide grin.
Sorry, I tend not to listen to people who are talking out of their asses. What do you want?
Oh, someone's a little irritable. Tall and broody. I can imagine you're pretty popular, even if some of your notes were out of tune. Well, at least you tried your best.
Excuse me?
The man pulled over a chair, making sure to drag it over the ground and make as much noise as possible. Gently, the bird hopped on his finger and he set it down on the table. Fawn's eyes instantly lit up.
Don't even start. You don't have to be dripping at the mouth at every single animal you see.
Dripping? I don't want to eat it.
Why else would you be keeping so many animals?
I think you...
Sorry, he's not up for grabs.
The small blue bird bounced around in front of Fawn, fluttering around and tweeting.
This isn't a zoo, you know. Keep your pets somewhere else.
They let you in, didn't they? I would have thought they'd tell Cabbage Patch and Kaleidoscope over there to keep you tied up outside. But here you are.
Cabbage Patch?
Kaleidoscope?
Seems I'm not the only one with a bird in here. What well-trained parrots you have.
Leo's expression became more annoyed by the second. I could almost hear a crackling in the air as he stared down the carefree-looking man.
Look, can we help you?
All right. I'm just here to congratulate you on a performance well done. What's a man got to do to show he enjoyed something?
Not what you're doing, apparently. It's all right, Leos. Just leave it.
Down dog.
Leo's fingers edged towards his daggers, playing with the handles. I kicked him under the table quickly.
Ouch!
Is that all, then? Thank you for the compliments. But we're tired from traveling, and well, he's easy to annoy.
Traveling? And where would such an interesting group be traveling from?
Leos and I come from
From none of your business.
The little bird hopped around in front of me before flying up to land on the top of my head.
Can't say I've been to none of your business before. How's the weather?
He still joked around, but his face suddenly looked serious. Is he staring at me? No, he's staring at the bird on my head. Under his steely-eyed gaze, I felt my body freeze up.
I'll be honest, I couldn't help but be curious about such a strange assortment of people. Stagwitch has a lot of visitors, but not many of them look like the three of you.
We're just travelers. Sorry we don't look like everyone else.
He looked between the three of us before his eyes landed once again on the bird sitting on my head.
Does your bird have a name?
His name is Varus.
Fawn raised his hand to Varus, but the bird flew away before he could touch him. He landed back in front of the green-haired man and pecked at the table in intervals before hopping onto his head.
And your name?
What do you think my name is?
How should we know?
No clue.
You look like a fox, so...
Got it in one. Good job, Bluey.
He stood from his chair and turned to leave. With a turn of his head and a wink, he looked back at Leos.
Looks like it's time for me to take my leave. See you later, Leos.
His eyes lingered on Leos for a moment, and an indescribable look passed over his face.
Oh, you can have this back. Interesting currency you have there, but not much use to us.
He threw a worn envelope onto the table, and the contents jumbled out. A few paper notes and a handwritten letter.
Hey, how did you...
Night!
In the end, what did he actually want?
To be annoying, obviously. He might have been acting like that, but he had more than one weapon hidden in his clothes.
All three of us slumped back in our chairs now that he was gone. It's been one thing after another today.
First all that walking, getting into a fight, performing at a bar, and being harassed by some weird green-haired guy with a pet bird. I think I could use that bed now.
Speaking of earlier... Oi, mouse boy.
What?
That, wasn't a bad punch you threw back there.
Back there?
You did a good job of breaking that guy's nose, but your form is poor. You gotta hold your fist like this.
Leos pulled Fawn's hand and positioned it into a fist. He acts like he doesn't care, then does things like this.
You're actually a nice guy, aren't you?
What?
He instantly dropped Fawn's hand onto the table.
I couldn't care less about you two.
Sure. You did a good job of protecting us back there, though.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The inn was starting to get rowdy, with yelling, singing, and cheering. Which reminds me...
Oh, now that we're finally alone, what did those girls want?
I have no clue, but thank the gods they're finally leaving me alone. One more second of listening to their shrill voices and I would have had to kill someone.
Don't do that.
I tried to explain it to you before, but I think you'll be more likely to believe me now.
Go ahead.
So, you said that in Aurelia Cavella, you don't decide who you want to be with. You're just matched up, right? Well, everywhere else... How do I explain this? Everywhere else, people decide for themselves who they want to be together with.
But how did they know who to be with? How would you be able to pick?
Love. Most of the time, anyway. You'll get a funny feeling in your chest, your heart will beat faster, and you'll know that you want to spend your life with that person. Then you might get married and have kids.
I don't think I understand it. How will you know if what you're feeling is... love?
I guess you just know when it happens. Sometimes it's exciting. Sometimes it's comfortable. Love can feel different for different people.
That doesn't explain what those girls wanted.
I guess they liked you.
Liked me?
Like, they wanted to be with you. Maybe they thought you were good looking. I mean, you're tall, have a nice face, abs.
That's all it takes to get people to like you out here?
Yeah, some people might want to skip the love and marriage and go straight to...
To?
Other things.
Don't stop at the interesting part.
You know...
We both leaned in closer to hear Fawn's quiet voice.
I'm back! Whoa, didn't mean to scare you guys. So, there might be a slight problem.
Is there only one room? Maybe two?
Of course. What now?
Well, since you brought in so many customers, we only have a single room left.
Of course.
Just one room?
How many beds are there?
Sadly, just one.
And there was one bed.
Although...
He looked us all up and down. His eyes lingered on Fawn for a moment.
You're all pretty slim, so I'm sure you could fit. Sorry, boys, you're just too popular. I should keep you around.
Are you sure that there aren't any other rooms available?
Leos eyed the man suspiciously.
You planned this from the start, didn't you?
Guys, calm down. If he says we can all fit, then it should be fine. Alright?
Leos took a step back and sighed.
If it means that I sleep in an actual bed, so be it.
I mean...
Defeated, Fawn stopped arguing as well.
Okay.
Come on, I'll show you guys upstairs.
That'd be great. Thanks.
We followed him up a small set of wooden stairs and down a narrow corridor. One of these doors must lead to the room he prepared for us.
You'll find the room cozy. You should be comfortable for the night. This one is yours.
He pointed towards a door at the end of the corridor.
If you need to stay any longer, come down and have a chat with me in the morning. You've done me a huge favor by bringing in that crowd. So thanks again.
It's no problem, really. We should be thanking you.
If you need anything, I'll be downstairs.
The man took off down the stairs, back towards the bar.
Well, should we check it out?
Leos pushed open the door and we all examined where we'd be spending the night. The room was definitely cozy. It was small, with a double bed and few chairs strewn about.
It's a little squishy, but it's clean and safe.
I guess we really don't have anything to complain about.
Outside the window, everything was slowly dying down. Lanterns were going out, and everyone was tucking themselves away in bed.
It's so strange.
What?
We're so far from home, yet so many things stay the same. The lights slowly dimming to the sound of a far-off owl, the people downstairs chatting happily. It's all so familiar, but so different.
I closed my eyes and listened to the sound of the ocean.
Try not to get too deep there, or you'll find yourself in a big hole.
Sorry, I must be tired. Let's head to bed.
How are we going to do this?
I'll take the left side.
Leos began unbuckling bags and removing pieces of clothing on one side of the bed. Fawn stood by the right side, awkwardly fiddling with his clothing.
What's wrong?
I don't know what I should sleep in.
Just your underwear, I guess.
Okay. Stop watching!
Sorry.
I turned around to face Leos instead. He'd already taken off most of his clothes.
Wow, you're really fit, aren't you?
Why is it surprising? The way he fought before? He smirked at me, obviously proud of himself.
Unlike some. You want to feel?
Wow! Can I really?
Fawn whipped around with a look of horror on his face.
What are you two doing?
With my hands on Leo's chest, I turned back to Fawn.
Leo said I could feel his muscles?
Jealous? You can too. Maybe one day you'll have a body like this. Who am I kidding? Of course you won't.
No, Can we just go to bed, please?
Leo slid into bed facing the wall, his broad shoulders on display. They were a pure, fair color, but littered with scars. On the opposite side, Fawn was edging himself into bed, hiding under the covers. Well, I guess the middle spot is mine. I quickly stripped down to my underwear and left my clothes folded on the floor.
Coming in! This is kind of fun. Like a sleepover or something. Do you guys have any scary stories?
Fun? Being squished isn't my idea of fun.
Fine, no stories. Good night.
Night.
I closed my eyes. What a day. After a while of rolling back and forth, I still couldn't get to sleep. Maybe one of these two are having the same problem? Roll left, roll right. I rolled over to my right. Thorn faced away from me, his face to the wall. Maybe he's asleep. Behind me, I could hear a soft snore. Seems like Leos had no problem falling asleep.
Hey, Fawn. Are you awake?
Just having trouble sleeping.
Yeah, I'm exhausted, but I can't get to sleep. Turn over this way.
Okay.
In the darkness, I could just see the outline of a small frame. It's not the first time we've slept together, but it's the first time we've been so close. His skin was fair, like Leo's, but there was something softer about it. The moonlight that flowed in from the window made his face look ghostly, almost magical.
You did an amazing job earlier. Your voice is beautiful.
Thank you. I was really scared, but I ended up enjoying it in the end.
And your song? It was amazing. I can't believe you came up with that on the spot.
Actually, I've actually been thinking about it since we first met.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Are you feeling alright? You look a little flushed. It really stands out against your pale skin. It's pretty.
We're just a little, close.
Before I even realized what I was doing, I reached out to twirl a lock of his hair.
Your hair is so soft. Sorry.
What am I doing? I pulled my hand back from his hair, but he didn't look away.
You can keep your hand there.
My hand found its way back to his head, and I played with a few strands of his hair. I'm not even sure why I'm doing this. Something about it just feels, well, right? Comfortable? He closed his eyes, and not long after, I could hear the soft sighs of a sleeping fawn. I followed after him and shut my eyes too, with my hand still resting on his head.
Closer. To Sid Caem. Followed.
I opened my sleepy eyes to find an unfamiliar room. What happened yesterday? Ah, that's right. That fight, Fawn singing. That weird guy. I rubbed my head, which ached dully. Another dream. They really aren't as alarming anymore, though. They're just there. I scratched at the black markings that ran up my arm. Still there too, huh? Or at least, I tried to scratch at them. Something heavy was holding down my arm. And my legs. Wait a second.
Are either of you guys awake?
How did we end up like this? Leos and Fawn were sprawled out over the entire bed, limbs tangled up with mine. The blanket was long gone. Haha, imagine their reactions if they woke up right now.
Hey, you two.
I have to try and remain calm here. It's not funny.
It's too early.
Stay away from him.
They must still be dreaming.
Ugh. Why are you so noisy so early in the morning?
done it now.
Good morning.
I gave them a cheerful smile. This is the reaction I was hoping for.
Time to rise and shine, you two.
How? Why is this?
He can't even finish a sentence. Oh dear.
This is obviously an accident. Yes, an accident.
Oh, there's something I wasn't expecting. Leos has gone all red in the face as well.
Don't be embarrassed. I don't mind being squished between the two of you.
Do you?
You guys kept me warm and cozy.
That was the final straw. Fawn jumped away and searched desperately for the blanket to cover himself up. Leos did similar and grabbed his clothes very quickly. As the two of them scrambled to get dressed, I sat down and thought about the day ahead of us.
So, today we're going to find Leos a healer to take a look over him and check out the town. Is that okay with the both of you?
Mm-hmm.
He still won't look at me.
Why bother? I feel fine now.
You're still injured. Let's just get them to have a look, just in case.
You know, whatever makes you happy.
Now that we were all dressed, we headed back down the stairs to find the bartender. Well, I think that's enough for today. I've gone on longer than I wanted, like I initially wanted to, but it also felt weird to cap it off right when they entered the city, because finally we're seeing something else in the forest. Yeah, let me quickly, how did it work here? Save. Yes, we're going to override it. And then, yeah. Again, a lot happened. Met some new people. I'm not sure if that green-haired guy was just trying to steal from us or something else. Like, something about that bird seemed strange. Very curious. Yeah. A lot today, and I think there's a lot more to come. So, until next time. Bye bye!